Today we're going to be speaking about the Parshat VaYetze Yaakov, and today's Thanksgiving. So we know, Avi, that the Parsha has to be speaking about current events. What's a current event? Thanksgiving. Well, Leah named her son Yehuda. What does Yehuda mean? Thank you, Hashem. Yud Kei Vav Kei Toda Le'el. Toda Le'el. So Thanksgiving, Mother Leah invented the concept of Thanksgiving, thanking Hashem. Whatever we have in life, it's more than we deserve. So the non-Jews have Thanksgiving once a year. We have to have Thanksgiving not just every day, but every single minute. Right, Avram? That's Mama Leah taught us. Yehuda, praise God. You have to thank God not just once a year. Forget about the turkey, right? But every day, every hour, we should thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Parshat VaYetze. Bereshis 28. Bereshis 28. Pasuk 11. Yaakov encountered the place. He took from the stones of the place, and he slept in the place. What's place? Parsha, yeah, but why the word hamokim 3 times? But Bereshis 28, verse 11. There's plenty of the blue. It's easier if you use at the blue books.
What's the name for it?
It's want to pass the blue books down, Avi? What page would that be in the blue book? The Stone Chumash. No, the Stone Chumash. Parshat VaYetze. The Stone Chumash, it would be in the Stone Chumash.
Page 145.
145, thank you. Page 145. Want to pass it down?
Because of 3 times what Abraham has.
Why is it written on page 145? Bereshis 28:11. He encountered the place.
42 in the other Chumash. Page 42.
He encountered the place. He took from the stones of the place, and he slept in the place. We know there are no extra words in the Holy Torah. I get the picture, David. Why place, 3 times? There are no extra words in the Torah. What was the place? Where was the place? Harabayit, Mount Moriah. Why is the place written 3 times? How many temples will be on Temple Mount? 3. Isn't that incredible? So the word hamokim is not extra, Avi. It's to teach that the place where he slept is going to contain what? 3 temples. Each temple is the place. The word hamokim. Interesting, right? There ain't no place like that place, right? Now, in verse 12, he dreamed and he saw a ladder standing on the ground. Verse 12, right, Abraham?
Yeah.
And he saw Malachei Lakim Olim V'Yardim Bo. Angels of God were going up and going down. Bo. What does Bo mean? With a vav? Bo with a vav. Him. English translates it, right? Angels of God were going up and down on it. But the word Bo with a vav doesn't mean it. It means what? Him. So what does it mean? Angels of God were going up and down on him. What does that mean? Avram, Bo, you know Hebrew better than me. Bo with a vav means him. Says the Baal Shem Tov. Whether angels of God go up or down depends on me. The awesome power of a human being to control not just his own destiny, but whether malachim go up or down depends on Bo, on the guy in the mirror. Whoa. Isn't that incredible? And Chaim Volozhin makes this point from the Mishnah Avot. The Mishnah Avot says, Da malamala mimcha. Know what's above you. The Mishnah Avot. But Chaim Volozhin says, Chav, you got to put the comma, Da malamala. If you want to know the status of the angels above, are the angels going up or down? Mimcha. The awesome power, Avram, of a human being. Wow. The awesome power of a human being. And this explains why on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, in the Sanatoka prayer, we say, Malachim yochofezun. We say that Malachim are shaking and trembling. Aryeh, what are Malachim shaking and trembling for? They have no free will. They can't sin. So why do Malachim shaking and trembling on the Yom Adin, the most powerful prayer on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? Unesana Tokev Kedushat Hayom. Awesome. The Malachim are trembling. What do they got to tremble about? They can't sin. Why they're trembling? I just told you. Because their destiny, whether they pass or fail, depends, Dorit, on Bo, on me. They got good reason to tremble. The awesome power of a human being. This idea of Avram you find in Genesis 1. God drove out the human couple and he placed the Kruvim east of Eden. Remember the movie East of Eden? Right? East of Eden. Kruvim. Says Rashi, Kruvim Malache Chabala. What does the Malache Chabala mean? Hell's angels. But in Parsha's Truma, Rashi calls the Kruvim Kodesh Kadoshim. Make up your mind, Avi. Are the Kruvim hell's angels or are they heavenly angels? Avi, what's the answer? You make the call.
It depends on...
Before Adam and Chava sinned, the Kruvim are Kodesh Kadoshim. But after Adam and Chava sinned, they turned heavenly angels into hell's angels. Malache Chabala. So this is the idea as found in this pasuk, going up and going down. Yaakov saw a ladder. Why, David? Why a ladder? You know, nobody takes a coffee break on a ladder. Rachmil, you ever take a coffee break on a ladder?
No.
In a ladder, if you're not climbing up,
You fall down.
you're always climbing down. That's life. That's life. If you're not climbing up the ladder, Avi, you automatically what? Climbing down, whether you know it or not. If you're not progressing, you're automatically regressing. So a human being cannot rest on his laurels, because if he's not climbing up the ladder, he is down. Nobody stays stationary on a ladder. It's not healthy, not safe.
Angels don't need a ladder to climb down. They can,
But the angels of God are us.
but they don't need a ladder.
We are the angels of God. Whether, you know, if we're not climbing up in life, we're automatically what, Dorit? Climbing down. What a powerful message that the Torah is teaching over here. Powerful message. So Rashi says, where was this ladder? He was sleeping on Temple Mount. He took from the stones of the place. What place was it? Temple Mount. Which stones did he take? His father's Akedah. Har Moriah, Mount Moriah. So Rashi is a strange Rashi in Genesis 28:17. Rashi said that this ladder began in Beersheba and it looped over Temple Mount. Have you hear this, Rashi? The ladder stood in Beersheba, but it arched or arced? Arched over Temple Mount. Rashi, thank you very much. Why should I care? 3,800 years ago, he had a dream. Why do I care where the ladder stood? It stood in Beersheba, and it arched over Temple Mount. What is the message that Rashi is teaching me? What is the message?
Where did it end?
I don't know where it ended, but it began in Beersheba, says Rashi, and it arched over Temple Mount. What is the message?
Usually ladders don't arch.
What? Well, this was no normal ladder.
So
This was no normal ladder, to say the least. But what is the message that God that is being taught over here? What happened in Beersheba, Avram? What did you do in Beersheba? Vayitel Avram Eshel beBeersheba. You planted Avraham and Eshel in Beersheba. The Torah tells us that. What does Eshel stand for? Achila Shtiya Leviyah. Avraham planted Achnosas Orchim, Chesed, in Beersheba. Eshel's acronym, Achila Shtiya Leviyah, food, drink, and what? An escort? Rashi's telling you something so profound. If you want to get to the Kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash, the road begins where? In Beersheba. Chesed. Oilam Chesed Yibane. We say God remembers the loving kindness of the patriarchs who made you goel. If you want to reach the third temple, the road leads from Beersheba. Beersheba symbolizes what? Chesed. That's the way to get to the Beis HaMikdash. It's not a geographical Rashi. Isn't that incredible? The road to the Beis HaMikdash, to the third temple, leads through from Beersheba, which symbolizes Avraham's Chesed. Vayita Eshel beBeersheba. Now, strange pasuk, Avram, very strange. Take a look at Bereshis 28:19. 28:19. Yaakov named the place Bet-El. What does Bet-El mean, David? House of God. But what? There's a but there. But what? But before that, the city was named Luz. What's your name, sir?
Gershom.
Gershom. Welcome.
Thank you. Been a while.
Now, it's been a while, Gershom. Good to see you. Now, the Torah is not a history book. Torah is God's GPS, God's personal system. What do I care? The name of the city was Luz. Maybe it was Peoria. Why should I care, Lahavdil? Why do I care? Say it and tell me, what does the Torah tell me? Now it's called House of God. But you should know it was called Luz before. So what? Beautiful.
Connects from this world to the
Beautiful. David Harrell came back from Canada just in time. The Luz is that bone in the back of the neck, Chazal tell us in Tractate and Hedin, that connects the head to the body. The Talmud says, where does the neshama reside? In the head. What's the neshama? Not the brain, the mind. When you x-ray your head, there's nothing in there? Ha ha. There's a brain. You don't see the mind, right? What is the mind? The neshama. So the godly soul is contained in the head. So the Luz bone connects what, Avraham? The head, which is the neshama, to the guf. Right? That's that bone. So the Torah is teaching me what David just said, that the Luz of the universe is Temple Mount. Just like the Luz bone connects the soul to the body.
called Great Neck Jerusalem.
Great Neck, right? So Temple Mount is called Luz. Temple Mount is that entity that connects the godly
To the heavenly.
to the earthly. The heavenly to the earthly.
And something else, if you take that.
That's the Luz of the universe. That's what Torah is saying. That's the center of the universe. It's the Gesher. It's the bridge that connects what? The soul to the body, or the heavenly to the earthly. So therefore, Temple Mount is the Luz bone of the universe. That's what the Torah is teaching us. That's what the Torah is teaching us. The Luz is the hook. Hook and ladder. He had a ladder. He dreamed about a ladder. And the Luz is the hook. Hook and ladder. The Luz is what hooks heaven and earth. Where do heaven and earth meet, Abraham? Where? Temple Mount. That's where they meet. Therefore, it's called the Luz.
Something
That's
else
pretty
I like.
incredible, huh?
Something else is a little bit.
The Arabs know that.
That if you take the midrashic
Right.
explanation of what Luz is,
Man.
it's the perfect place for Akedah.
Uh-huh.
Because the Melech Mavet had no power there.
Nachon, right. Nachon, yeah. Now Yaakov, he wakes up from his dream, and he says something very strange. Genesis 28:21. You see that, David? Genesis 28. There's an extra blue book there. Anybody want it? It's important to look inside. Next to Avi, there's a blue book. You want to pass it down? Anybody want to look inside? Genesis 28:21. He says, if I return in peace to my father's house, then Hashem will be a God to me. That's what it says. So Ramban wonders, what do you mean? When I'm on Ocean Parkway, I have no God. What do you mean? When I return back to my father's house, where's my father's house? In Beersheba. Then Hashem will be a God to me.
Wow, interesting.
So the Ramban quotes the Gemara in Ksubis. This is the source. Kol adar b'chutz la'aretz kemi she'ein lo Elohai. Yiddish Chanoch. How does the Talmud Ksubis know anyone who lives outside of Israel is like he has no God, even Borough Park? Look at the pasuk. Only when I come back to my father's house, Genesis 28:21, then God will be a God for me. Implying that when I'm outside of Israel, Nebuch, it's like I have no God. How do they learn this in Crown Heights, Avram? Oh, wow. This is the Ramban's comment on this pasuk. Why he says, only when I come back to Eretz Yisrael, only then will Hashem be a God for me. Implying that when he's not there, Nebuch, he has no God. Pretty incredible. On this pasuk. Kol adar b'chutz la'aretz k'mi she'ein lo Elohai. Ksubis, page 110. And the Ramban says, this is the source. You know, every statement in the Talmud Avamaf has a source. This is the source, Genesis 28:21. Okay? Now, Very interesting. So Yaakov is on his way to Haran. Where's that, Avram? Ocean Parkway, Syria, right? So he gathers he comes to a well and he sees what? He sees what? Some shepherds there. Genesis 29:4, right? Genesis 29:4, he says to them, from where are you? They say we're from Haran, right? And then he says to them, Yehuda, Genesis 29:6, right? 29:7, he says to them, my brothers, where are you? And then Genesis 29:7, he says, the day is still long. Why are you guys goofing off, hanging out by the well? You're stealing the boss's time. That's what he says. Now, Gershom, I need to know the conversation that Yaakov had with some shepherds on some lonely well in Syria 3,700 years ago. Dorit, ma messer Paul. He has a conversation with the shepherds and then he rebukes them. Right? You're hanging out. You're stealing the boss's time. The day is still long.
They said, oh well.
So what's the message? What's the GPS, Aryeh? What's the GPS? If you want to rebuke somebody, what did Yaakov do before he rebuked them? 29:4. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. Yiddish Rachmiel. Before you rebuke somebody, you have to make him feel like a brother. Otherwise, don't rebuke. Isn't that amazing? Rachmiel, you get the picture?
Yeah.
It's not stories. The Torah teaches me vital lessons, but the Torah uses story, Gershom, as a medium to teach. Why? Because if you remember the story, you remember what? The lesson. So before you rebuke someone, achai, if you can't make the person feel like a brother, save your breath. Powerful message. Ma'isa avat simin labanim. If you don't rebuke with love, then it's counterproductive. And that's what the Torah is teaching me over here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the Torah. There are no extra words in the Holy Torah. Now, it's very strange, Abraham. Genesis 29:25. Yaakov gets deceived on his wedding night, right? Surprise, Genesis 29:25, Gershom. He thinks he's marrying whom? He thinks he's marrying Rachel, and what happens? And he wakes up in the morning, wow, it's Leah. Sounds like a comedy act. But what's going on, Reb Chanoch? Huh? I mean, what's the message over here? And why tell me about it? So it happened. Okay? But Gershom, the Torah is GPS, God's personal system. Why does the first Jewish wedding have to be through a deception? Avram, wedding reception or wedding deception? And why tell me about it, Chanoch? What's the message over here? So my great Rebbe, Mordechai Goldstein, Zechat Tzaddik Evracha, said something amazing. After the wedding night, surprise, expect to be disappointed. You think you're marrying a Rachel, and you wake up the next day or the next month, who's that woman sleeping next to me? Is that the one that I married? It's never what you expect. You think you're marrying a Rachel, but you also wind up with a Leah. You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. So my Rebbe, Goldstein Zatzal said, therefore, the chassan veils the kala. Avram Berkowitz, why does the chassan veil the kala under the chuppah? You know what he's saying to her? I'm marrying not just the person that I know, I'm also marrying the hidden part of you. I accept you with your veils on. Be prepared to be surprised. Isn't that incredible? Yes. All right? Yaakov accepted it. So the first Jewish wedding had to be deception, Chava. You know why? Because in every wedding, there's a certain degree of deception. There's bound to be a disappointment. Is this who she really was? Boy. Huh? But the message is that what? Yes. Yes. You listening? Yeah. After the wedding night, expect to be disappointed. It's not what you expected, Avram, right? It's okay. Dorit, it's okay. That's exactly what you need. So therefore, the first Jewish wedding reception had to be not a reception, but what? A deception. It's not stories, Gershom. It's this is a GPS. You think you're marrying a Rachel, you're also marrying a Leah. But that's the way it's supposed to be, right? And he accepted it, right? He accepted it. So you got to make adjustments, and that's why he veils her under the chuppah. David, you know, that's the idea. He puts the veil under the chuppah, right? Now, Yaakov, something very strange. Rachel says, Genesis 30, verse 1, Rachel says to Yaakov, if you don't give me children, Mesonochi, I'm dead. Genesis 30, verse 1. See that, Gershom? Rachel was jealous. She couldn't, of her sister, was giving birth. She said, if I can't have children, I'm dead. Right to say to Abraham? What is Yaakov's reaction to her? This is his favorite wife, Aryeh. You would think you'd have a little compassion. What does he answer her? You have the book there? No? You ain't got it? What does it say? What does he answer her? He becomes angry at her. Your beloved wife is aching. She's brokenhearted, engulfed with grief. And how does her beloved husband answer her, Avraham? How does he answer?
Yells at her.
He becomes angry. What does it say in English? Does it have in English there? Yeah, what does he got there?
Anger flared up with her.
And he said, what?
Am I instead of God, who was withheld from you through the womb?
That's how you speak to a beloved wife in pain and anguish? What's going on, Aryeh? What's going on? What? No. No. Don't mix me up. I want to know here, Gershom. And what's the Torah telling you? So he said it. Torah doesn't tell me any stories. The Torah is GPS, God's personal system. The Navi says, Titen emet leYaakov. Yaakov personifies what? Truth. Remember the Navi says that? You know he got so angry? You're saying a falsehood. Just because you have no children, you think you're worth nothing? That's false, Dorit. He's saying, sweetheart, get a life. You have a life of your own. It's sheker what you said. Because you have no children, you think you're dead. Yaakov's the ish emet. He comes up to such a falsehood, he loses it. You have a life of your own. You're such a wonderful woman. You can accomplish so much. So you can't have children. It's not the end of the world. Make a life for yourself. That's why he reacted so angrily. Titen emet leYaakov is a verse, Gershom Micha. Titen emet leYaakov. Therefore, when he heard sheker, he lost control. You hear this, Avraham? I couldn't handle it, right? Now, you have a strange story with the Doyim. Very strange, Avraham Brokowitz. Strange. Genesis 30. What verse is that? Genesis 30. Verse what? 14. Reuven went and he found the Doyim. What's the Doyim? Some say jasmine. Some say mandrakes. Right? Mandrakes? Mandrakes. Thank you. Genesis 30, 14. And Rachel says, "Give me some of your what?
Aphrodisiac.
Your son's mandrakes." What's the Torah telling me, Avram Berkowitz? What's with this mandrakes business or the jasmine? Says the great Nachmanides. Yiddish Chava? This was a fertility drug. or aphrodisiac. What's the message of the Torah? You think Rachel didn't pray for kids? Of course she prayed. But the Torah is teaching me that God only helps those who help themselves.
Jacob's about 95 years.
It's not enough to daven. You have to go to the doctor and get fertility treatments or whatever. What a message, Connie. Says the great Nachmanides. It's not stories, Avi. Rachel was praying and praying. But it's not enough. Of course you have to pray. But you also have to work on a practical level. God only helps those who... That's the message of the mandrakes. What a powerful message. Maisa avot simin labanim. How do you say that in English? Deeds of the fathers are sign for the children, right? So a person, of course, he has to pray when he has an illness, whatever illness it is, but he also has to work on a practical level to try to get help. That's the message over here. That's the powerful message over here. Isn't that incredible? So what does Leah say? So she says, give me some of your son's mandrake. What does Leah say in verse 15? Very sharp response, Aryeh. You have it? Genesis 30:15. What does Leah say? Anybody want to read that, Avi? No? Is it a small thing that you took my husband? You also want to take my son's mandrakes? What should Rachel have said? Whose husband? Hey, girl, take a pill and lie down. Whose husband is it? Huh? Didn't I give you the simonim? What is Leah saying is a small thing that you took my husband. Hey, girl, what do you have, amnesia? That's what Rachel should have said. But she didn't answer. She didn't answer. She was mevater. How do you say that in English? She gave it up for Leah. She gave in. She could have answered back. Hey, girl, the shoe's on the other foot. I gave you the man of my life. I never knew who was going to take me on the rebound. But she didn't answer. She swallowed her what? Pride. She didn't answer. And therefore,
91.
Therefore what? There's an amazing pasuk in Jeremiah 31. The final geula will come in whose chus, Avram? In your chus? In Yitzchak's chus? In Yaakov's chus? Rachel. Jeremiah 31. God says, Vishavu banim lugvalam. Vishavu banim. The final redemption. The reason that we are back in Israel after 2,000 years, the reason Mashiach will come, not Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moses, or anybody. It's whose chus? Jeremiah 31. Rachel. You know why, Abraham? Because she bit her tongue. She could have lynched into Leah. But she kept quiet. She was a mevater. Look at the awesome power of the vatranus. How do you say that in English? To give it up, Chanoch? There's really no word like vatranut. To hold back to when someone lynches into you and you can justifiably answer back, you bite your tongue. And because Rachel did that, Jeremiah 31 says that the final geula of Berkutz will come in whose chus? What about the Akedas Yitzchak? What about chopped liver? Little you know. It's the vatranut. Jeremiah 31, the shavu banim ligvulam. The reason that we're back in Eretz Yisrael and there'll be a third temple is just for this act of vatranut. What a powerful message, Avram. The next time someone says something to you and you can answer back and you don't, you bought a ticket to eternity. We see from Rachel Imeinu. That's just incredible.
Sometimes you get an opportunity.
Right? That's right. If someone ranks you out and you bite your tongue, wow. What a powerful message. Yiddish Elishama? Easier said than done. Right? But this what Rachel Imeinu was teaching, that her act was even greater than Akedas Yitzchak. How do I know, Avram? Because the final geula will not come for Akedas Yitzchak. Jeremiah 31 says it only comes because of Rachel Imeinu. For her vatranut, she gave it up for her sister. Powerful, very powerful message over here. Wouldn't you think, Abraham? Huh? No.
It's also a reflection on Leah.
That what?
That she forgot after a while
What did she forget?
she forgets after a while what her true position.
What her sister did for her, what? But you see, it's just incredible that Rachel gave it up so much for Leah. How old was Rachel when she died, say Chazal?
36.
Yes. Gematria Leah. Yiddish Aryeh? She gave it up for her sister to such a degree, Avram Berkowitz, that she died Gematria Leah. Leah, who's good in math? Lamed Aleph Hey is Gematria Avram Makama? 36. At Kedei Kach, she gave it up for her sister. She died when she was 36. But you see that throughout Jewish history, Aryeh. Yonatan ben Shaul. Who does he come from? Who does Shaul come from? Benjamin. Who's Benjamin? Rachel. Who does David come from? Yehuda. Leah. Are you sitting down for this, Chava? Who was supposed to be the king after Shaul? Yonatan, the son of Shaul, the grandson of Shaul. He gave it up completely. Willingly, he gave it up to David. Who's David come from? Leah. Do you see the DNA? DNA stands for divine natural ability. Rachel's DNA was found in her great-great-grandson. Who is Rachel's great-great-grandson? Yonatan, the son of Shaul. Just like Rachel gave it up completely for her sister, so her great-great-grandson, Yonatan, gave it up for whom? For David, who's a grandson of what? Leah. VaYetze called it, some people in life are enablers. They, how do you say it in English, Avram? Enablers? They enable someone else. They give up their own greatness. They give it up to enable others to succeed. Who personifies that, Avram Berkowitz? Rachel Imeinu. You see it by her grandson, Yonatan, who gave it up for Leah's grandson, King David. He didn't have to do that. Rachel and Leah. What's in a name, Avram? What's in a name? What's in a name? Look at the name. Who names all the tribes in the Parsha? Throughout the Bible, who names the children, Avraham? The mothers. The mama. Not the papas. Beinu B'chai says why. And the Ramban say why. Because a name in Hebrew is not Tom, Dick, or Harry. A name in Hebrew, Gershom, defines the mission of that neshama. Ramban says that since women are more in touch with their neshama, the word neshama is feminine. Gwinky dinky. The word shechina is feminine. Women are more in touch with their neshama. They're more qualified to look at this baby and to what? Define the mission of the soul, which is contained in the name. Therefore, throughout Tanakh, it is the ladies that name the children. The name is the tafkid of that neshama contained in the name, and women are more qualified. They're more in touch with their godly soul. The word neshama, shechina, Torah, mitzvah, it's all what?
Feminine.
Coinky dinky? No. So the lady's name over here. See, they name all the children over here. And she names her son Yehuda. Yehuda. And the Talmud says that why did she name the son Yehuda? Hapam Odet Hashem. The Gemara Bracha says, no one praised God with such terms of endearment until Mama Leah, not Mama Liga, Mama Leah said, Hapam Odet Hashem. Nobody. That includes Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Women got us beat. Gemara Brachot. Nobody praised God with such lofty, lovey-dovey terms until Mama Leah came around and she called her son Yehuda. Hapam Odet Hashem. Rashi says, because I took more than my share. Leah was a Navi. She knew that Yaakov was supposed to have only what? 12 sons. And she also knew how to multiply. How many wives did he have? 4. So if there's supposed to be 12 sons total, Aryeh, and there's 4 wives. So she knew, she went to arithmetic school. So each mother, 3 times 4, right? So when she had Yehuda, Avram, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, he is what?
4.
More than my share. We have a Kabbalah in my family, I come from Shevet Yisachar. I'm not called the Issacharite. I'm called a Yehudi. How come Leah, Yehuda, all tribes of them, whether you're a Danite, you call it a Danite, a Naphtaliite, every 12 tribes of Israel, Yehuda, Leah gave her name to, we're all called Yehudim, no matter what tribe you come from. Because Mama Leah taught us, whatever you have in life, Chanoch, it's more than we deserve. That's what Mama Leah taught us. Shenatalti yota mechelki. Whatever I have in life, it's much more than I deserve. That's what the word Yehuda means. To praise God, whatever we have, it's all Him. Wow. That's what she taught. Now, she was called Rachel, and her sister was called what? Leah, right? And they named the children Yehuda, and then Reuven, Shimon. Each name contained what? A deep meaning, right? So therefore, it's very important, says the Ramban, to go by your Hebrew name. Not to call Avram Avi, not to call Yitzchak Itzi, or to call Esther Eti. It's important to go by your Hebrew name, because your tafkid in life, Avraham, is contained where? In your Hebrew name. And therefore,
What about a convert?
one second, your Chaim HaKodesh says, when you name a child, it's subconscious Ruach HaKodesh. Subconscious Ruach HaKodesh. The Zohar says that after 120, the first question God will ask us is, state your name. How do I know that? In the human court, Avram. First question the judge asks you before the trial begins, state your name. So if in a human court, the judge asks you state your name before the trial begins, so what, Chava? The heavenly court follows the human court, or vice versa. So the heavenly judge, Kodesh Baruch Hu Kaviyach, will say, state your name. But you say, Itzi, Eti, Avi, Avraham. State your name. So the Shloach Kodesh says, a Segula Avram, you shouldn't forget your name. In the day of death, you know, you're what's the word? Discombobulated, frightened, scared. So there's a segula, right? Aryeh, not to forget your name, you're supposed to say a pasuk in Tanakh that contains the initials of your name. So my name is Ephraim, Avraham. Avram, we have the same pasuk. My name begins with an Ephraim Avraham. Begins with an Aleph and ends with a Mem. So I say Nehemiah chapter 9. Atu Hashem Elokim Asher Becharta Ba'Avram. Begins with Aleph, Aleph Mem. Ephraim, Avraham, Aleph Mem. So my pasuk is Nehemiah chapter 9. You are God who chose Avraham and redeemed him. So if you say a pasuk in Tanakh, Avraham, with what? With the initials of your name, it's, how do you say segula in English? An amulet? That you won't forget your name on the day of death. The Shloach Kodesh says that. So what is it, Gershom? Hocus pocus? I mean, what does it mean? Why will you forget your name? And why by saying a pasuk in Tanakh, you won't forget your name? What's the essence, Chanoch? You know your pasuk, right, Chanoch? Chet, Kaf, right? Chanoch, you're looking... The back of Art School Siddur has it all, right? The back of the Art School Siddur, right? So what's the explanation over here? So the Rabbeinu B'chai tells us this idea, Avraham. Our tafkid in life is contained in our Hebrew name. So when God says, state your name, Chava, what's he really saying? Did you live up to your tafkid? How do you say that in English? To the goal that I gave you, which is contained what? In your name. So what can I say? Did I? I say, God, I don't know. But if you want to know who I am, I'm a posuk in your Tanakh. You're asking me my name, right? You're asking me, who am I? A doctor, a lawyer, a candlestick maker, an Indian chief. Who am I?
Check my Facebook.
I am a posuk in your Torah, God. I'm Nehemiah chapter 9. Well, when God hears that, he has to go easy on me. If my essence is a pasuk in God's Torah, Lillian, then I hope you say next. Next. Get it?
This lady has a question.
And 1 second, I'm coming through over here. When God is asking me my name after 120, according to the Shlah, he's asking my tafkid in life. Did I live up to it? So I say, God, I don't know. But if you want to know who I am a verse in your Torah. That's who I am. Well, if that's who I am, whether I lived up to my tafkid or not, you have to go easy on me, God, because I am a pasuk in your Torah. Get it? Yes.
Okay, now there's a duality in my name.
Go ahead.
My Hebrew name is Nechama.
Nechama, Nun Hey.
Now I'm comfort, right?
Right.
But there's a place in Tanakh where it means regret. So what do you say to someone like me?
Regret? Where?
Nechama means comfort.
Yeah, where does it mean regret?
I remember having learned one time.
Okay. What's your first name again? Nechama. Okay, let's go to the video text. Okay, Nechama, I'm glad you raised it. Let's go to the video text. Okay, not in Ruth, in Genesis. 1 minute. I know what's bothering you, Nechama. Let's go to, 1 second. Genesis 6, verse 6. It's easy. 6:6. 6:6. Vayinachem Hashem ki asa Adam. I think the English says God regretted they created the human being, and now he has to what? Flood him out. Avram, Genesis 6:6. No, David, how do they translate that? Genesis 6:6, Shen. I'll wait. Don't all answer at once. Genesis 6:6.
Regretted.
What did they say?
Regretted.
Are you reading inside?
No, but
Wow. I'm waiting. Yeah, how do English translate that?
Reconsider. Reconsider.
Mine says repented.
Repented?
Reconsider.
Article says reconsidered?
Regret it.
Regret it.
Well, that's
But Rashi,
different book.
Nechama, you don't have a Rashi, but Rashi asked your question. Vayinachem doesn't mean regret. Vayinachem means Nechama. If you look in Rashi, Rashi says Nechama hoy telefanov. God was comforted that he created the human being down on earth and not in heaven. Because if he would have left man in heaven, he would have led a rebellion of the angels against God. So God was comforted, says Rashi in Genesis 6:6. Nechama hoy telefanav. The word Vayinachem means comforted, doesn't mean regret. God was comforted that he created the human being where? Down on earth, not in heaven, because if he would have created him in heaven, he would have led the angels in rebellion. So the word Vayinachem does mean to comfort. So your tafkid in life, Nechama, is to comfort people. All right? So that's pretty easy, right? Some people, it's hard to find their name, right? What it means. But that's your essence. And therefore, it's very important to go by your, to go by the Hebrew name. To go by the Hebrew name. Very important. So back in VaYetze, going back to Parsha's VaYetze, right? If you look at the end of the Parsha, V'Yakov holach ledarko. You say this in Tfilas Haderech Avram, Genesis 32:2. V'Yakov holach ledarko, v'yifkavo malachi Elohim. Yaakov went on his way, And he encountered what? Angels of God. See that? The end of the Parsha, Genesis 32:2. Yaakov went on his way, and he encountered Malachi Elohim. And he named the place Machnayim. What does Machnayim mean?
2 camps.
2 camps. Right? 2 camps. Why 2 camps? Rashi says, because angels of Eretz Yisrael have no passport, David, to what? To leave the land. And the angels of Chutz La'aretz have no visa to come to Ben Gurion Airport. So, Machnayim, Shtei Machnot, Shel Chutz La'aretz, right? He was leaving Ocean Parkway now. He's on his way back to Eretz Yisrael. So those Malachim from Chutz La'aretz, they came to him until where? The border. And then what happened, Elisheva? Beam me up. And then the angels of Eretz Yisrael went into what? To escort him in the land. It's a pasuk in Tehillim 91, Elisheva. Ki malachav yitzavalach. Shishmocha b'chol derchecha. God, all of us are surrounded by angels. Psalm 91 of them. Did you know that? We can't see them. Can you see germs? Can you see bacteria? Lahavdil? So if you can't see that, you can't see the angels. We are surrounded with malachim who guard us, whether we know it or not. Who taught us that? Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu taught us that. Right? Powerful message.
What about the angels who don't guard?
So what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, there's both sides. The angels that guard us and the angels that don't.
Each angel has a tafkid. The Bereshis Rabbah says that each blade of grass, each flower has an angel over it, appointed to what? To look after it.
They play bridge until.
And according to the Barbanel and the Rambam, when you're looking at a starry night, what are you looking at, Elisheva? Bodies of angels. Avram, heavenly bodies. Maimonides and the Barbanel say, what do you need those zillions of planets for? Each planet, Avraham, is a body of an angel. Just like our soul, to accomplish our task, we need what? A body. So Malachim have a task too in this world. So just like our neshama, to maneuver and accomplish our task, we need a physical body, the body. So Malachim are also what? Heavenly souls, and they also have a tafkid in this physical universe. So they also need a body to accomplish their mission. And their body is what? The stars or the planets. Maimonides says that's what makes them rotate and spin. And therefore he says that the planets have intelligence. Avram, do you know that? He doesn't mean the planets, he means what? The angel that animates the planets and the stars. They have intelligence.
So they can deal with the weather.
Right? So God appointed them to what? To manage what? The universe. Now the question is, why, Elisheva? A human king can't do the job on his own, right? So he needs what?
Henchmen.
Henchmen? What's the word? Henchmen? Assistants, thank you. But the Rambam and Morton Nevuchim asked the question, God can manage alone. Why does he need zillions of assistants? How do you know there's zillions? How many planets are there? Zillions. Each planet, each star is an angel. So why did God need it? Says the Rambam. The one who invented human nature, Avram Berkowitz, knows human nature. 1970, I went to Buckingham Palace. I was there for a Shabbos in England. And I was so impressed with the marching honor guard.
Changing of the guards?
The honor guard, I'm very impressed. So Rambam says that human nature is, when you see a king surrounded by a huge honor guard, it increases your glory and honor for the king. So it's not for God's benefit, it's for mine. In order to assist me in my Yirat Shamayim and Havas Hashem, God wants to, Dorit, impress me. Look how much he thinks about me. God says, check it out, look at my honor guard.
There's so many you can't even count.
Right? So this increases our awe, love, and what? Respect and honor for the king. So that's why there's so many planets and starry night. You look up at the heavens, it increases your Havat Hashem and Yirat Shamayim. So the reason the Malachim are there are not for God's benefit, but to assist me, Elisheva, in my Avodas Hashem. How do you say that in English? Avodat Hashem. Service of Hashem, to love and what? And to fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's the story here of what? Of Malachim. In the beginning of the Parsha, Yaakov dreams about angels, and in the end of the Parsha, he encounters angels. So something incredible. How did God know that Yaakov, it's time for him to come back? Right? How many years was he in the Ocean Parkway, Abraham? How many years? 22 years? Or 20 years, right? 20 years at least in Ocean Parkway. How did God know it's time for him to what? To come back. Says Rav Soloveitchik. In Eretz Yisrael, what was he dreaming about on Temple Mount? Angels and God. In Ocean Parkway, what was he dreaming about?
Money.
The stock market. Sheep and goats and livestock. So God says, oh, if you are what? Dreaming about livestock and stock portfolios, it's time to what? Come back to Eretz Yisrael. You want to know what a person is? What's he dreaming about? In Eretz Yisrael, he was dreaming about Malachim and God. And in Syria, he was dreaming about his portfolio.
I like that.
So God says, Gershom, it's time to come back home. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Right? And God says it's time to go back to your land of your fathers, right? Uh-huh.
In the land.
In the land. And look at Rashi. Look at Rashi, Genesis 31, verse 3. God says to Yaakov, go back to the land of your fathers, and I'll be with you. And Rashi says, and there I'll be with you. But as long as you remained in Eretz HaTameh, I can't be with you. Isn't that credible? As long as you remain in Eretz HaTameh, what's Eretz HaTameh? Even Crown Heights.
Parshat V'Yikra, the small
I can't be with you. Yeah. It's just amazing that if you look at Tractate Gittin, Chutz L'Oretz is Mitama. Chutz L'Oretz is Mitama. Eretz Amim is Mitama. So the Shulchan Aruch and the Yeridea wonders, how can a Kohen live in Borough Park? I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. Chutz L'Oretz is Mitama. It defiles you. So the Shulchan Aruch wonders how a Kohen can live in Crown Heights. He struggles with it. But this is what God was saying to Yaakov Avinu over here. You have to come back to the land of your fathers, and there I'll be with you. But if you remain in the land of Tameh, I cannot be with you. Wow. So Baruch Hashem, Avraham, we made it. Baruch Hashem, we made it. We have to appreciate that we live in God's living room. I think it's called the Palace of the King. We have to cherish it and appreciate it. On Sunday, we have a shiur called The Torah's View on Sexual Harassment. That's Sunday at 2 o'clock. What does the Torah say about sexual harassment? That's Sunday at 2. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.